My name is Liam Roberts and I'm running for the position of GUSA President this year. I'm a fourth year accountancy and economics student and obviously taking a sabbatical year next year, hopefully so.
Perfect. So I guess to just open, why do you think the GUSA presidency matters and what makes you want to run for the role?
This question actually came up last night at Hustings. Personally, GUSA President there's an awful lot he does that isn't dictated and seen by the student body on campus. He sits on SSS committees, which is Scottish Student Sport. He liaises with all other sabbatical positions in Scotland and things like that too. So it's very much a link to other universities as well as just to us. And for me, university sport itself has been the heart and soul of what I've done in Glasgow. As I said, I'm an accounting and economics student, and from day one I was a member of the hockey club, and I dabbled a little bit in cricket, and then from there it's been GUSA Freshers helper and things like that. And it's without that I don't think I'd be here today, and it's not a case of I wouldn't be here as a candidate, it's that I don't think I'd be at Glasgow anymore without sport. It's kept me at university and I've loved it. It's been absolutely great. So it's I just want to take this opportunity. Okay, having been on council for the last year, I've done a little bit, but would like to again run for president and put something back. A little bit, anything.
Okay, and are you happy with the job being done by the current GUSA president?
Oh yeah, Rory's done a spectacular job. Every president does. The handovers we work from across all 12 positions are very successful year upon year. Every year is always striving to push harder and higher for the next year to go and continue the success with sport on campus. And I think that every year is a struggle to supersede what happens last year.
Of course.
But that's exactly what you want, is you want to try and make things as good as you can.
Of course, and then I guess in terms of that, we'll talk about your manifesto for you a bit.
By all means.
You've outlined 4 main points that you want to look at: club sport, student well-being and so on. Firstly, starting at club sport. Now you've obviously got this plan to redesign the club tier system. Why do you think that's important? How do you see it working, and are you not worried about the danger of other clubs being left behind by the change?
So we struggle at the moment, unfortunately, with funding. The way we work is we get an annual grant from University Court, which comes down to us. All 4 student bodies on campus work the same. And last year we put in, the president before Rory, Caitlin, put in a budget proposal which was something ludicrous, like 10,000 words, 20 pages, and she toiled and worked at this for weeks on end, and was very, very lucky to receive the same funding from the university. So I think we have to continue to be proactive with regards to how we run the association to prove the university that we're actually trying. And one of the best options I think with this is to redesign the system in order to allocate funds more fairly, and that's not a case of, I said this last night, it's if you can allocate them fairly across, every club gets the same, but then obviously other clubs do more and other clubs do less, so clubs are going to see them better off or worse off. And so the system I'd like to introduce has actually been tailored, or has been implemented elsewhere in Scotland. St Andrews and Edinburgh are both 2 universities that use it, and it's a 3-based system on performance, engagement and development. So clubs will be given standards, or not standards, targets to reach as a percentage of BUCS points, so that, okay, clubs that compete in more, for example, women's hockey have 4 teams competing in BUCS, whereas women's football only have 1. So naturally women's hockey are going to be susceptible to more BUCS points. Whereas each team would be given a uniform target, so that it's tailored to how much they can achieve, so that clubs are obviously going to be, every club has the same opportunity to succeed. The engagement side of things is how much your members are enjoying it, how much they've taken from it, how the benefits they see from it, and the sort of transferable skills they've learned from this and that kind of thing. And then the final point is development, which would be outreach programs, which I mentioned further on in it. So they kind of link together, the 2 systems I'd like to introduce. Outreach programs, dealing with alumni, how well you publicise your club, and how well you deal with GUSA Council too. There is clubs out there that are very, very involved with GUSA and link back both ways, and both associations, both sides of the coin, GUSA and the club, see the benefits from it, and there are other clubs there that don't necessarily link so much, and it's a shame because the benefits they come from speaking to us are evident from the other clubs that do it. Unfortunately they don't seem to do that, so it's a case of just linking both ways.
Of course, but in terms of the clubs which, say for instance, don't do so well, what measures will be in place to ensure they're not left behind? So it's things like, by virtue of the fact they've got the engagement and the development system parts of the thing too, parts of the system as well will really help with them. There's currently the gold, silver, bronze tiered system has an instructional and a competitive side to it, and the instructional clubs are things like Muay Thai and stuff like that. Pot bowling, for example, is one, and they're also working very hard to, obviously the non-competitive side of things would leave them behind in the performance spectrum, but it's this whole engagement things, in that because it's an instructional club,
club, people are learning from what they're doing there, and they're enjoying it, and they're going away. A lot of people will go to clubs in order to compete, whereas these clubs obviously will excel in the engagement side of things, because people that win them are doing them because they want to, and they want to try new things. The likes of skydiving, for example, is another example where people are going to try this new sport and to get involved with it.
Okay. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Wednesday afternoons. So obviously this has been a problem for GUSA over a number of years.
Yeah.
Why do you think your measures will be successful where other regimes have failed, and what do you intend to do?
I don't think that any regime has failed as such. That's probably incorrect. I would say that it's a constant discussion between GUSA and the university that is progressing. And we have the University Senate motion, which was passed in 2009, reviewed in 2014, which is that teaching and timetabling staff should keep Wednesday afternoons free. And they must do their best to video all lectures on a Wednesday afternoon, and they must do their best to provide students with the notes and things when given a letter of exemption, provided there's a class on, of course. So it's not a case of continuing to push this, because this is set in stone. It's just divulging this knowledge to people and to timetabling staff, and ensuring the Council of Senate actually pass this on to timetabling staff. One of the plans I had with this, which isn't necessarily outlined in my manifesto but came up more last night, is to actually analyse the schools and colleges that do well with keeping Wednesday afternoons free, and the ones that necessarily don't do so well, and then creating a case-by-case example to prove to colleges that don't do so good as to how it can be done, and back and forth, so that things are obviously led by example and proving that it is achievable.
Of course. And so I guess, for example, what kind of, do you have any examples of success or otherwise that you can
well, I myself, as an accountancy and economics student, I'm very lucky in that I've never had a class scheduled on a Wednesday afternoon. So there's one school, the business school, seems to do quite well with it. There is natural examples of classes and subjects which are more intensive. So your typical medicine, vets and dentists are obviously all very, very full on with their courses. But the next best thing about this is the campus development, which is creating all the new learning spaces, will really help timetablers in that they've got more opportunities to schedule classes at other times because there's more opportunities to sit them.
What does sport mean to you, and what kind of legacy would you like to leave as GUSA president?
Well, like I said about how involved I've been with it, for me it's, everybody takes away the keeping fit and the staying and having fun, but for me it's the socialising and the meeting people and the being part of everything like that. You know, you look at the hockey club and you look at lucky enough to be a GUSA helper and lucky enough to be on council. They're all just small pockets of families that you develop, and you know everyone inside out and back to front. You absolutely love them, and it's great. So it's much more of a family feel that I get from sport rather than the winning and competing kind of thing. And as a legacy, like I said before, if I can have a infinitesimally small effect on someone else that GUSA has had on me, then I'd like to think my time here is a success, because it's just made it for me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.